Alright, so this is the beginning of video 2. So you should be checking your answers from the practice. So if you need to pause the video, now is the time to do so you can check your work. Keep in mind you had to do this graphically and algebraically. So my graphs look like this. My green one is with my green line. My pink one or red one is with my red one. You should get a fractional solution, and when you go back in to get your x and y, you should get 3/4 over, or 3/4 and 5/2. We substituted our y. And then for the second one, again, red and green, they're parallel lines, which means no solution. Again, if you need to pause to check your work versus what I have, make sure you do that. I did not show every single step, so make sure that you're moving your equations around appropriately. We're going to move into word problems real quick. So at any time, pause the video to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So the first one we're talking about, Lewis Carroll's book, Through the Looking Glass. Tweedledum says, the sum of your weight and twice mine is 361 pounds. Tweedledee replies, the sum of your weight and twice mine is 362 pounds. And we need to find both of the weights. So best thing to do, identify which one you're going to have as x and which one you're going to have as y. So Tweedledum is going to be our x. Tweedledee is going to be our y. Okay, so we're going to write our equations. So Tweedledum says the sum of your weight and twice mine is 361 pounds. So we just wrote it in our equation. And then Tweedledee says the sum of your weight and twice mine is 362 pounds. Okay, so make sure you understand which one is x and which one is y. That's why we labeled our x and y here. So then you have to figure out which one you'd like to solve for. I'm going to go ahead and solve for y here. So I'm going to subtract my 2x over and do that math. So then I can substitute y for y. Okay, so this is your substitution word problems. So we've got x plus 2. With our substitution, you should be using your parentheses. Distribute, so you have x plus negative 4x, and then 2 times 361, which is 722, equals 362. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead and subtract things over. So 722, subtract that over, you should get negative 360. Divide by your x, or your negative 3 in front of your x, and you should get x is 120. So that means Tweedledum is 120 pounds. So when we take this and plug it back in, we should get that Tweedledee is 121 pounds, if it's only one more. So we're going to see if that's what we get. So we get negative 240 plus 361, and it does look like we get 121. So our solution here, we've got 120. Well, that doesn't look right, so we're going to move it. We've got 120 and 121. Okay, so pause if you need to. We're going to keep moving. So Lulu tells her little brother Jack that she's holding 2 coins. Okay, and then all of which are either dimes or quarters. So 20 coins, all are either dimes or quarters, and they value at $4.10. And she says she will give them the coins if he can guess how many she's holding. She's not a very nice older sister. So we're going to solve this for little baby Jack. So we're going to make dimes x and quarters y. So the 2 groups together add up to 20 coins. The value of them, if dimes are X, so 10 cents for every dime we have, and 25 cents for every quarter we have, should add up to $4.10. So again, we're going to solve for one of our equations. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solve for X here because we need to get used to solving for letters we're not comfortable with. So I'm going to solve for X, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it in where we need it to go. So now I've got 10.10 negative y plus 20 plus 0.25y equals $4.10. Distribute. Okay. So 10% of 20, so 0.10 should be 2. And then combine your y, so now we have 0.15y plus 2. Subtract over, so now we have $2.10, and then you're going to divide like you always do. So when you divide $2.10 divided by 0.15, so 15 cents, you should have y equals 14. So again, we're going to take that information and we're going to plug it back into our original. So we should have x equals negative 14 in parentheses plus 20, which means I should have 6. So that means I should have 6 dimes and 14 quarters. Okay, again, pause the video if you need to, so you can check everything you have. Once you've done that, you need to do the you try section. Again, pause the video so you can do your work. When you're ready, push play and check your answers. All of your corrections should be in another color. So a pen, highlighter, some sort of different color. I don't even care if you use crayons. So use something so I know you made corrections. But you need to do 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll show you answers when you're done. So pause it and get to work. All right, so you should be ready to check your work. So for number 1, make sure that you've set up your equations correctly. Pause the video so you can check what you have from what I have. But when you get your final answer, you should have 14 over 5 and 12 over 5. Not pretty answers, but they are there. 2, we've had this problem a couple of times, so hopefully we're getting the hang of this whole perimeter thing. Perimeter is equal to 86. You got to plug in your length, and you should get these 2 numbers for your answer. So 3 was a little bit more difficult because if you didn't do a certain piece of 3 right, then you got the whole thing wrong. So if your equations aren't b equals 6 plus 4s, so remember b is her age and s is her son's age. 3 years ago, so if you took away 3 from b, you also have to take away 3 from s because then they were both 3 years younger. So if she was 3 years younger 3 years ago, and he would also have to be 3 years younger. So you got to take away 3 from both sides. Has to be in parentheses because it's 7 times whatever that age was. So that's not a pen. So 7, the s minus 3 is the son's age 3 years ago. So that whole thing needs to be in parentheses because then you're taking 7 times that. So when you plug it in and do all your solving, you should get that he is 8 and she is 38. So again, pause where you need to pause so you can check all of your work. This next section is required and it will be graded for completeness and accuracy, which means that this is going to be the end of our video. Okay, so you've got Regents practice right here. So you've got this should be question 1, so make sure you make that change. You have question 1 starting here. You've got instructions within it, for Alyssa and her chickens. You have a bonus that is required, but if you miss it, you won't lose points. And then you have question number 2 down here. Both of these are Regents questions, so make sure that you're paying attention to what they're asking. Again, Alyssa, that's number 1. I don't know why it looks like that. You know how formatting goes. It happens. So make sure you make that change. So question 1 starts with Alyssa right here, and then everything below it is part of question 1, and it stops right here with the bonus. Okay, you're going to use question 1 to help you with the bonus. And then question 2 is talking about a school fundraiser. Make sure you're paying attention to some of the vocab that's in it. This will be collected and graded for accuracy, so make sure the entire packet is filled out from the videos that we talked about. Check your answers, everything, okay? Again, practice required, will be graded on completeness and accuracy. If you need to rewatch any of the videos, do that. But other than that, do your best. Good luck.